Okay, so hope everyone had a fantastic holiday last Monday. I did. I was out of town on vacation, and then last week I was attending the Risk Media CEO Exchange in New York that I mentioned, and it's the top CEO, broker owners in the nation, and it's mostly their executive management that come to this meeting. Very, very informative. As I mentioned on yesterday's call, it made me feel good about everything that we're doing. Just reiterated our white paper and so much of our fundamental strategy and structure that we're continuing to build on every week. So very, very lots of exciting, positive meetings. First, I'll give you kind of a market recap of August sales numbers. So no surprise, sales are down for last month, but average sales price is up. But where there was a few outliers I thought that you guys should know about is on the price point. And this is something that I mentioned last month, but I can't mention this enough because it seems like our sellers are not hearing it. Our sellers need to understand that depending on what price point their home is in is how hot the market is. So not everything in McKinney is just flying off the shelf, and not everything in Oak Lawn is going over this price. So it depends on what that price point is. A lot of it is new construction. So certainly the lower price points, we're seeing more new homes being built in these outlying markets that are going to be at lower price points. So if you have any sellers who are on the fence right now, they need to take advantage of it before they're competing with more new construction that's coming online in the next 6 months and get their homes on the market. The homes that are at the market between 400 and 450, especially McKinney, Allen, Frisco, there's a lot of new construction in existing inventory at that price point, so those prices are taking a little bit longer. But anything that is 300,000 plus, sales are up in the market of 200,000 plus. Where sales are down, everything that's below 200,000. Let's go. What that tells me is same thing I've been telling you guys for the last few months, but that is focus on those higher priced properties. Focus on the properties on your listing inventory and focus on your geographic markets that are 220,000, 250,000 between about 350,000. It's the real sweet spot of the Metroplex, regardless of what market we're in, but throughout the Metroplex, it's a sweet spot. So think about that. Just a few highlights. In Ellis County, I see average sales prices up 8%. In the Colony, average sales prices up 34%. Now, why would you think that is? Colony historically is a little bit lower price points. So those lower price points, we're seeing some real appreciation there. East Dallas, sales prices up about 6%. That's been pretty consistent over the last couple of years. New listings are up, and the median price is up 10%. Northwest Dallas, the average price is up 13%. In Plano, the average price is up 11% in the last year. In University Park, the average price is down. That University Park, there's so few sales, it just takes one or two $20 million sales to totally change the numbers over there year to year. So that's where make sure you're doing that in your own market, your own MLS area too. Look at how many sales there are to make sure you're getting accurate samples, so you're getting accurate information. In the neighborhood, you can't really just rely on the MLS data. You have to go back month to month. You have to go back quarterly. Look at a full quarter instead of a month. A month may not be giving your sellers accurate data. There's only 3 sales last month. You really need 20 sales before you have an accurate sample of 20 plus sales. You have to use quarterly data. So the other thing, and I kind of mentioned this, but the price point between 400 and 650, it's about 4 to 6 months inventory. But nonetheless, sales are still up. There's more sales in those price points than it is at the market a little bit longer in those price points. So think about those and make sure that you're looking at that data in your respective neighborhood. Erica, you want to take that off?
All for being with us today. Really appreciate your attendance. First, I want to announce our Agent of the Month, and that goes to Harlem Abbasi. Surprise, surprise. and he is also our top producer, so kudos to Farm. He's doing great. And our top listing agent for 2 listings in August is Anna Eads. She's doing a great job. So good for them. They are not with us today. I just want to give a quick announcement about property management. Our property management company is growing, so we do appreciate your referrals, and there is a percentage of that. That initial fee goes back to you all for the referral. If you have any questions about property management, please see myself, Logan, or Richard, and we'll be happy to help you with that. Okay?
The property management company has grown the most. It's kind of the market leader in property management at OneProp. So you know your competition in any business is probably important. OneProp would probably be considered our biggest competitor. So we have matched their referral fees. That's why we pay 50% referral fee on that. But just like OneProp, it's not paid all up front, and so they just give you a fee. So that is paid up front at move-in, and the other portion is paid on a renewal a year later. That's reduced. So it's a little bit funny marketing, but we just match what they've done. It's 50%, but they have to renew their lease in a year. And that's what we get paid. So don't let some of these marketing agencies see how easy on this 50% referral fees. We make the same thing.
I do want to mention. Right, and next week we will have an orientation, so to get a refresh on all of our systems and everything that we offer, the tools, we're going to go over that next Thursday. So feel free to come on in and we'll have that in this room, okay? All right, thank you.
In the same vein of property management and working with investors, 78%, this is the number that Hereby mentioned last week in New York, 78% of the consumers, buyers and sellers, prefer one-stop shopping. They really prefer you to have all the resources for everything under one roof. And so that's the reason having property management all in one house is important. And also our mortgage and title. You know, that's where our mortgage and title partners is real important. That we have all that in one house, stop shopping. So that's why our incentives, our marketing incentives, rebates, try to make it as clear as possible on the cost versus value and all of the commission structure sheet. So if you have any questions, be sure to come to myself or Richard with that. But our partnership between all of us, mortgage, title, AHS, home warranty, preferred warranty provider, we're trying to make this as simple as possible, where you guys save as much as possible on your marketing, and we're helping you with the marketing. We're about to roll out a whole new marketing, not branding campaign, but as far as our postcards, our flyers, our luxury marketing, we've been going back and forth for the last 6 weeks, but we're getting closer to being able to roll all of that out in a whole new campaign. And also Facebook, Facebook coming soon, just look. So that'll be, again, conveyed a lot more clearly through Back Agent, and once we have it in Back Agent, we're still working with the marketing company and artists. It's a work in progress, so kind of bear with us on that. What we have is okay. He's good. He's done a great job with it, but we're kind of at that point where we're taking it to another level. So, Barbara, do you want to say a few things on mortgage?
The one who
Guys, how can you promote that? I want to hear from you. What are some ways you can promote that? That's huge.
drop it on
Okay, so Erica, how would you put that on Facebook? here's the way I take that a step further. This is where it comes to kind of peeling the onion. Is that I would think who are some people that come into contact with a lot of buyers that, and I would contact them on the phone first, let them know, then ask their permission. Can I post this to Facebook? So many buyers. Do you mind if I post this on your wall on Facebook? And then tagging other people on there. So just your post is part of it, but then really think about how can I take this a few steps further and other people that I know to create engagement, to make this more viral to where they come to contact with a lot of buyers.
Okay, so it's not.
Being how to get 3% towards the down payment. Right.
Or the.
Free gift me is more valuable than no money down because that's I am. And people keep in mind, people respond to dollars more than percentage. So what's the maximum FHA loan amount? Okay, so you get what? How much money does that equate to? $14,000 towards your down payment. Very compelling. Yeah. What's the cost? Marketing is a big part of your job as a realtor, and marketing is creating engagement. So the way you word this and the way you promote this is a direct correlation to how much engagement you create. And with Facebook, that's where it's the pretty cool. So, we don't have time to talk about this right now. This just goes to show how important it is for you guys to know about mortgage tools and education for your clients. So make sure that you know these things because these change all the time. That's why we like Barbara to mention what's changing. But it's your job to know the basics and the fundamentals here. So keep that in mind. With that being said, another thing that we're doing, we're about to introduce a whole new program starting today. I'm going to introduce it right now. But first, I want to know how many of you have a challenge when you have a buyer that's approved with another lender and they don't want to talk to Barbara, they don't want to talk to you. Okay, so you guys do have a challenge with that. So, okay, so we're going to fix that right now. Here's one solution, is that when I was an agent, the way I did that is I had a guarantee, and I told them I would write them a check at closing for $200 if they weren't happy with my lender. You know, I'm so convinced that my lender will do a good job, I will write you a check for $200 at closing if you use someone else and you don't use my lender. And sometimes they would use someone else, and they wouldn't use my lender. But you know how many times I wrote a check? One time. Out of those thousands of transactions. Now, the other times that they used someone else, it's usually because they had a relationship that they were so tied to, they've gone through a lot of work, and they just didn't want it. And that's fair. I understand that, I respect that, and actually appreciate that. So, but my lender did at least got another shot at it or another chance, and it improved our conversions a lot. So I would encourage you to do the same, but what we're going to do as a brokerage, that I'm going to help you guys out with this, is that if you don't want to do that, keep in mind, I did it for years as an agent, and I wrote one check for $200. So that actually having to write the check, it would hardly ever happen. But what we're going to do as a brokerage is we're going to give your buyers a $50 gift card just for that opportunity for our lenders to be able to offer that second opinion. So you say, hey, my brokerage is going to give you a $50 gift card if you'll just give us a shot. Now, what we need to do is at closing, for them to get that gift card, Barbara needs to see their good faith. She needs to see their good faith estimate, because if they say, well, we're going to use our lender instead, and they can compete, then we need to see the good faith, we need to see the true lending. We want the bottom line is we want our clients to get the best service possible, and to do that, like I mentioned, the number 78% of consumers prefer having that all under one roof. So having a mortgage title and preferred partners is a big benefit according to consumers. So we want to make sure that we're delivering that benefit and with the best. As Evie said, these other companies, I hear complaints that they're not the most competitive. Property management, their mortgage, and their titles. I've heard a lot of complaints internally. I want to make sure our vendors are always the best vendors available. So Casey and Trinity, they do a great job. Reunion Title does a great job. Indu, Barbara, the Prospect Mortgage and Service First do fantastic. So anytime there is a problem, I want to know about it. And of course, we all have problems. We've all made mistakes before. But let's make sure that we're communicating about it, so we just, if it's something that could possibly reoccur, it doesn't recur again. For example, Reunion Title, last month, their phone system, I heard 2 complaints on getting through their phone system. So they changed their whole phone system and upgraded it to a totally different phone system. So these things, a lot of times it's just communication. So we've all had issues in certain areas before, but let's make sure I know about it and they know about what we're on the same page so we can improve it. And that goes for everything in our brokerage. Every week we're looking on refining and improving
everybody in this room is signed up. You need to get in back agent. October 1st, that's how you're going to get paid. Yours, there'll be no exception on the processing. Starting October 1st. Chris is loading up files and training videos on the back page, and all that stuff is out there. Everything will eventually be out there before October 1st. So no longer have to buy it. We'll have to try. It's going to be a lot easier to find what you're looking for, especially the training models. All that's going to be out there for you. We do have a special class.
You guys that are using Back Agent, what's your feedback been on it? Right. Good.
Tell me how Kelly liked that checklist. That checklist was good.
So it's eliminating fines. That's what it helps you guys. So another thing that maybe I may be speaking a little bit out of school, but Kimberly, it allows her to also call your clients and reach out and let them know about the moving boxes, about the importance of them completing their survey, and something. Sometimes clients don't hear it on the first time, right? Sometimes we have to hear it 2 or 3 times over and over. So when it comes from 2 or 3 different people, that also helps. And agent surveys are really, really important.
We're going to have a special class a week from tomorrow. We'll have it live and we'll broadcast it. Cheryl's going to do a class on the title commitment. Now, I don't want you interpreting that buyers, sellers, but what to look for and who to get involved in the problems. All this stuff. And show you really quick just things to look for, the key items to look for. Would anybody like to see fewer KDNA categories? We're looking at revamping that. We're going to come up with, we consider a fewer number of numbers for us to be tracking. So that's going to be rolled out real soon. We'll also continue to do more videos on our training and
I know I told you 2 months ago I'm going to have a buyer counseling session for you on video. I told Gracie this morning in our management meeting, I said, we have to make this a priority. I've got to get this out in the next week. So I'm hoping that will help you guys anytime you have buyers with questions and you want to do some quick pre-qualifying from that video.
But please, if you have a view, back agent, any problems, call me.
So I'm going to give y'all a quick referral network. Logan announced a couple weeks ago that we are now approved as one of the vendors for the Big Toyota move. So that's exciting. They're going to be moving from now in the next 3 years. So it's going to be continuous business. So that's really great. Logan worked really hard to do that. We're also working on Wingstop. So I think that's going to be really good for us to just get continuous business. Okay, with the reassignment. So every week I call the leads that come into the office and that we send to you guys. And one of the biggest things that I hear is that no one contacted them. Either they never got a phone call or they never got an email or whatever the case is. And Jeremy has been so good at getting all of their email addresses. So even if you call them and they don't answer, email them. That way they really have no excuse. So it may be because you just didn't do a follow-up phone call, but please do that. We don't like to reassign them, but we have to. All of our clients need to be taken care of, or our leads. Okay? And that kind of goes.
And right now we're not tracking the agents that we're having to consistently reassign from, but we will. And we have that all recorded, and it's just I don't pay attention to it. But as we enhance the process and with this pipeline ROI, this new system that we've implemented, then that also makes these things happen in real time. So.
Right, so that's also an issue that we've been working on. So we're working on refining the whole lead process, and also I'm reporting to Logan every week if there's any agent on the top 10 that's not receiving leads, make sure that we're doing everything we can so that all of our agents are being treated fairly. Okay, so we're working on it. Don't think that you guys aren't being heard. We definitely are listening to everything you're saying.
This pipeline ROI, it's a new system, so it's really good. It's just
Okay, now in terms of back agents, yeah.
one question on that. If I call and ask an email, is that fair to move on, or do you want me to do that again?
Right.
I don't know.
Oh, I mean, it's not a,
Sometimes it's timing, sometimes it's a personality thing, sometimes it's, there's a lot of different factors. So don't feel like we're, like I said, when there's something that's reassigned, it's happened a lot to where they'll say, well, you know, I just didn't, actually what happened probably more than what we know. The buyer ever tells us is that their pride at stake. You know, maybe they said something to the agent, but they realize they're wrong. They didn't want to admit to it. So they went from another agent before admit that they're wrong.
yeah, so definitely like, yeah, and like if you guys call someone and you feel like it's continuous, you send them a text, you call them, you left them a voicemail, you email them, you've got no response, we want to know that because when I contact them and they happen to answer, I can say, hey, we tried to reach out to you several times, but I still want to make sure you're taken care of.
Right.
And then I'll transfer them to you.
Make sure you're comprehensive with your notes.
Okay, another thing, back agent, I got in a lot of stuff into back agent. So there's a lot of really exciting things. When you first log in, you'll see a promote section. That means promote your business. So anything to do with promoting, whether it's flyers or postcards or whatever it is, it's going to be in there. If you go to learn, that's what you're going to learn. Those are your learning resources. So all of our training is going to be in there, our tools and resources. There's a lot that's in there. So please log in, play with it. I promise it sounds tedious and time consuming, but it's going to save you so much more time in the long run. Okay. The moving boxes are in there. Boxes you could just click. It takes you directly to that actual product, and you just click add to cart, and that's it. Okay. I just want to remind you guys about our moving services. You obviously can use Firehouse Movers or application for your high-end buyers. So and they need a little bit more white glove service. Maybe they have really expensive artwork. Then call Armstrong. They're really good. They're really timely. So make sure that you know about both of those resources. In terms of social media, like Logan had mentioned, the Just Sold, Just Listed, I get all of the Just Listed emails, so I can post that on Facebook. If you just sell a property or just close a property, let me know so that we can make an announcement on Facebook. We're really going to try to revamp our social media presence. Okay? If y'all have any questions, y'all know y'all can email me or call me.
John takes lunch today, and also he's going to talk to us at lunch about our tips and things. Casey, do you have anything to say?
She's our closer, our wonderful, extraordinary closer, and I am thrilled to have her on board. And I've got some packages over here for it's just some information about some relocations and some relocations that was going to go back in Trinity and Walker. Some of her packages and buy packages as well. So exactly what's going on with your contract. So deals will be already on there. Your buyer, seller, your home warranty information, and all of your mortgage information. Full supplies stuff for you guys.
And, you know, Trinity also helps us. So we appreciate that, and that's a of course. Just, I don't know if who has had the pleasure of working with her, but I know she's closed deals for me personally, and she's been here in the office to do it, and does a fantastic job, and the buyers are very happy, and the personal touches that she brings to the transaction is makes a big difference. Also, being in our office, I think makes a difference too. Right. All the family here, right? All right.
So pipeline is live. I know Barbara's like the queen of it right now. So if you've got any questions, make sure and talk to me. We're still working out some of the kinks. So it's coming. Need anything, let me know. And then again, for back agent, a lot of the calls I get are for documents from the title company or from other agents. If you've got, like, you're pretty good at it. So if you've got all your stuff in there, I don't have to call you and bug you or just push the client or push anybody else onto you. I can take care of it for you. To help you, the more you have in there, the less I have to bother you, and the more I can assist you and just push things through instead of having them find you. Call me because they can't find you. I think you can do it because it's going to make everything move smoothly and make it go faster.
This is a tip, I'll let you guys hear. I was talking with our management meeting this morning. I said, you know, I want our agents to almost feel like Jeremy can be their assistant with some of these tasks. And, you know, for you that don't have an assistant, it's when you're working with buyers and sellers and that title company or someone needs something now, if it's a back agent, then I'm comfortable with you calling Jeremy and asking him to help you out and things like that. So that's, again, as a brokerage, we want to be a resource in every way possible. And if you're doing your job, then, like you said, it helps him help you. So we're happy to do that.
That's key. The only way that you could close it, put those documents in as soon as you have them. Just as an example, look what you have out there.
And I know, speaking personally, my experience, when I utilized my assistant, when I first got started with the business, I was out on buyer and showing appointments a lot. So I was out of the office a lot. And having that person I could just call and say, do this or I need this, and it normally has to do with transaction management. Usually I do some paperwork issue, and as realtors, we don't like it, right? So that's where just use back agent, put as much in there, and if you see other ideas where we can help you with that, that's the goal for the brokerage. Is we want to provide as much transaction management facilitation as possible, and then kind of the next step or the next phase for us is to really help you with your marketing. And that, like I said, we'll be rolling out in the next few months. But that's exciting. Really, the things we have kind of in store of marketing, it all is very professional, sophisticated. I think it's what I have in my head, what I've envisioned, what I'm trying to communicate, it's better than Sotheby's. And Sotheby's right now does the best job with their marketing and their branding campaigns. So there's a lot to it. It's a lot of work, and it's very expensive. All right. Any other announcements or any feedback from anyone? Did I miss anything? Oh. Brett Delphin is my
Practice journal.
All right, thank you guys. Our last